Alright, guys, we all know those 80, 90K finance jobs. We'll see how we do here. Let's try financial analyst and random, and let's see how we do. Timer's super important because you gotta simulate the real environment. And let's get started and see what happens.
Hi, let's practice an interview for financial analyst. How do you manage and analyze large sets of financial data?
You don't. Actually, no. If you do, you got it and you can land the job. But if you don't know how to answer a basic question like this, you're kind of cooked, I would say. So let's see how we do. So to analyze large sets of financial data, you would basically go in and use any kind of data analyst tool, whether it's Excel, Tableau, SPSS, or any kind of Power BI, anything like that. Basically, organize the data, normalize the data if you're using kind of scripts and things like that. So, and then you would basically segment the data, saying, hey, this would be on the lower end. Let's say you're analyzing stock prices, for example. Segment the data, draw conclusions, and basically do it like that. So keep things organized, and yeah, I think I did decent. That's not too bad. Not too bad.
Explain how to use EBITDA in evaluating a company's performance.
Try this at the bar. What's EBITDA? Go to a random person and say, hey, do you know what EBITDA is? No, I'm just kidding. I saw it on TikTok though, somewhere. Don't quote me. So EBITDA is basically earnings before interest, tax, depreciation, assets, I believe. Um, all right, I'm cooked if that's wrong, but that's basically the general idea of it. So basically, you check basically after uh, uh, in the income statement after subtracting expenses, but with before subtracting things like interest, tax, etc., etc. Basically, you're seeing what your company's health from a financial perspective. And yeah, all right, I might be a little cooked on that one, but we'll keep pushing through.
You find that a product line is underperforming financially. How do you approach solving this issue?
You replace the product. It's so simple. And yeah, but if you don't, you can make it better, obviously. If you can tweak it, maybe the marketing's not as good. So you have to see where exactly is the root cause of the issue. Because if you don't know, you can't diagnose it. It's like going to a doctor and saying, hey, if the doctor asks you, what's the issue? You're saying, you don't know. So yeah.
You're asked to improve the financial reporting speed and accuracy. What steps do you take?
You could basically look at methods that speed things up, whether that's certain formulas you're not using, certain ways to organize data in your Excel sheet, for example. Maybe you can use something like pivot tables or some kind of shortcuts. There's a whole host of shortcuts to use in these financial modeling statements, etc. Also, you can use something like Python scripts to get accurate outputs every time. So there's a bunch of things you can do, and yeah. And yeah, there's no excuse these days. You got LLMs too to help you. So
Describe a time when you had to work under pressure to meet a financial deadline. What was the situation and how did you handle it?
one time I had to do this was basically in a tech company. It's not in finance, but in a tech company. Basically we had to basically build a feature before before it had to ship to a customer, and the deadline was so tight and we barely made it, but it was quite hard. But we still made it, so yay. Alright, guys, I might be cooked on this one. Might have to pack my bags from New York City. We'll see how it goes, but yeah. Alright, AI is analyzing my responses. It's going to give me an interesting outcome. Alright, guys. So, Yeah, so interesting. I talked about I use too many phrases, like basically, kind of. I have to be more definitive for sure, because it analyzes both my technical correctness as well as my soft, kind of verbal cues, which is super important. You got to practice it all. And yeah, EBITDA, EBITDA. Yeah, I think got to be more clear on what EBITDA is. Amortization. Yep. Yeah. I believe I said that though. Don't quote me on that. You can go back, rewind the clock, call me out. Up to you. So, all right. Let's see. Yeah, yeah. So it didn't like my analogy, but it's a true analogy. It's pretty similar. We could always improve. Um, but yeah, no, it's good to know what to work on, and yeah, it's good to know that it was semi cooked, not fully cooked, but we can still improve. We can get to that 10. We can stay in New York City. Let's go.